Hi there. I'm just finished my bathing today, so I'm gonna to practice Ielts speaking today with my pajama. Okay, so the hot topic recently might be the news. For the question one, it might be asked, do you think news is important? So my answer would be yeah, the news is quite important for most of the people. We can divide the news into two categories. One is the local news, which was illustrate about the current affairs happening in our local area, and the other category was the global news, which portrays some global affairs happening in our society. For the students who are international students or who need to do business abroad, they need to understand and analyze the global news. For example, there is a pandemic happened right now, so the international students should grasp those kind of news to make us know for the developing issue about this pandemic and plan for their study abroad might be deferred or other reason. And the business people, if they receive those news about the pandemic, they might be plan their trips more safely and consider canceling their flights abroad. So that's kind of very important for those two groups of people. Okay, so the next question will be, do you think people like the negative, why there are so many negative news? So I think there is three reasons why people like those negative news. One reason is that because this negative news itself, if there's a headline about somebody is dying or somebody has died or someone was missing or there's a pandemic or over the world, this news sells extending our expectation, because that the reason why this piece of news is itself makes most of the journalism or the media wanted to promote or broadcast those news. So why the media like to broadcast some negative views? That's our second reason to say that why people like negative news. The reason because why people like negative views, because it's based on their habit. Many people experience that when they woke up in the morning, their radio or their streaming service from their cell phone just broadcast the news that someone has died or there was a trade war or Brexit news coming out from their media. So that has become kind of a habit for many people. So this is the habit issue. And the third reason why there are so many people like negative news is that I think people was born to be fascinated with those kind of news, because that's why many people like to watch some sad movie to make themselves crying also. So that's a force of fascination which makes many people like the negative news. Okay, so we go to the second question. Do you think the news is a source of entertainment? Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. Because many comedy, they like to make use of the news as their way to do the prodigy or sarcasm on the news happening or the characteristics of some issue. And another reason for that is news is kind of conversation tips or conversation material between our colleagues and friends or even family members. Without those news feed was fed up into our mouth or mind every day, we will lose some kind of conversation material in our everyday life. Okay, and the final question. Do you think news changed quite a lot from the past to the recent days? Yes, I think that the news changed tremendously during those days. In the past, most of the media, they broadcast their news through some television, radio, or some paper, like newspaper. Nowadays, people read the news just through their digital screen, the digital gadget like the laptop or some streaming service from the internet. So the news nowadays have become digital. And also this way of reading news is more economical because it saves much paper and also very environmental friendly. And the other change today's news is about each people can create their own news. A very typical example is the American President Donald Trump. He tweets what he feel, what he want to write every day on his own Twitter. So everyone or the worldwide people tend to look on or dig into his Twitter to understand more about what's happening in our world or what will happen in our world. So, and even many YouTubers create their own channel to broadcast the news they have access to. So there have been many independent media nowadays than before. So, okay. And another topic I want to talk about is about gratitude. Someone might ask, how do I become more happier? The other topic I would want to talk about today is about gratitude. So how could we be more happier? So they have to first got the recognition includes the happiness didn't come from the outside. Actually, happiness is more accessible through inside of our heart, because nowadays there are fluctuating or chaotic situation happening outside of our body. That's a very can't control problem. So what we can control is the heart within ourselves. The best practice to be more happier is that we could, when we woke up in the morning, we could say thank you about 10 times to ourselves to strengthen those recognition about the happy thing. But this question comes out that what do we thanks for? Actually, we thank for our breath, our first breath in the morning. We thank ourselves we have access to breathe again in the morning. Let's continue this practice about 30 days. That we would recognize that there's a huge difference had happened inside our mind, because we don't depend on the exterior source of happiness, which could not be controlled, because various changes might happen during this kind of days. But what can we control is our own body, our mindset about the issue happening. So keep doing this. We might face many positive changes to our mindset, and improve our sense of gratitude towards our life. So that's my sharing today. Bye.